It really hit me. The biggest threat to a local business isn't incompetence.
It's invisibility.
It's just invisibility.
Yeah. That's a really profound place to start. And you're absolutely right. We think if I build a better mousetrap, the world will beat a path to my door. But it's just not that simple anymore.
Not in 2026, for sure.
It's not that their product is bad. It's that nobody even knows they exist. They're not fighting a battle for product superiority. They're fighting a battle for mental real estate.
Mental real estate. I like that phrase. Yeah. And that is exactly what we are unpacking today. We've got this fascinating set of internal documents, pricing sheets, and strategy guides from a service called Cardreach. Specifically, we're looking at a campaign they run called the Citrus Bulletin in Fontana, California.
Right. And I think we should set the stage here. Our goal today isn't to sell you on postcards. I don't care if you ever buy one.
No.
Our mission is to look at these documents to understand the mechanics of trust in a local community. Why, in an age of AI and digital feeds, does a physical piece of paper sometimes win?
It seems so counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
Go back to paper. But as we go through this, we're going to dig into pricing, the neuroscience of what they call haptic marketing, and some really specific data on zip code 92335.
Okay.
But let's start with the problem, the mistake. Why is just relying on digital ads failing so many local businesses?
Well, it really comes down to the medium itself. The documents open with a premise that I think it's crucial, the scroll.
The scroll, yeah. We all do it.
Just think about your own behavior this morning on your phone. How much time do you actually give an ad you see?
Honestly, a fraction of a second, just enough to swipe past it, if that.
Exactly. The source material here cites a stat that, well, it says digital ads are scrolled past in about 0.5 seconds.
Half a second.
They're ephemeral, they exist for a flicker, then they're gone forever. You don't own that interaction. And the noise level is just deafening. A local plumber isn't just competing with other plumbers.
He's competing with cat videos and news alerts and everything else.
Precisely. He's shouting in a stadium where everyone else is screaming.
So how do you get out of the stadium?
Well, this is where the documents pivot to what they call a haptic connection.
Okay, let's pause on that word haptic. I usually hear that with, like, video game controllers or touchscreens.
In this context, it just means the science of touch. The source references some neuroscience research that shows consumers recall direct mail offers 70% more than digital ads.
70%. That's a huge difference.
It's massive. And it's because of the cost of ignoring. To ignore a digital ad, you do nothing. You just keep scrolling.
Hero effort.
But to ignore a piece of mail, you have to walk to the mailbox, pick it up, carry it inside, sort it.
You have to physically touch it to throw it away.
You have to handle the object. You feel the weight, the texture. And that physical engagement creates a kind of a memory anchor. Even if it goes in the bin, your brain has registered it in a way it never registers a pixel.
It's the difference between seeing a picture of a hamburger and actually holding one.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the why. Let's talk about the what. Because Cardreach isn't just sending out some flimsy flyer. They have this specific product.
The Citrus Bulletin.
Right.
And looking at the product overview, Doc, this is not your standard coupon mailer.
No, it's a 12 by 9-inch oversized postcard.
12 by 9.
I look it up. That's bigger than a sheet of printer paper. It's massive.
It's huge, and that is completely by design. In the mailbox, size is the primary disruptor. If you have a stack of regular envelopes and then this giant, stiff card, you can't ignore it.
It gets in the way.
But here's the catch. Sending a mailer like that is usually way too expensive for a small coffee shop or a local handyman.
Oh, for sure. The printing, the postage, it would add up fast.
So the Citrus Bulletin is a shared media format. Multiple local businesses share the real estate on this one big card.
I'm looking at the pricing sheet here. A single slot starts at $150, and it says that reaches 2,500 homes.
Okay, let's just pause on that for a second. Let's do the math. $150 to reach 2,500 homes.
That's, what, 6 cents a home?
6 cents. You can't buy a postage stamp for 6 cents. You can't even buy a blank index card for 6 cents.
So for less than a nice dinner out, a local business shows up in 2,500 mailboxes on a format that usually only a big corporation could afford.
That's it. It democratizes that big brand feel. It lets the local guy look as established as a national chain just by writing on the same vehicle.
But, and there's always a but in marketing.
Yeah.
You can have the biggest, glossiest card in the world, but if you send it to the wrong people, you're just lighting money on fire.
Correct. Targeting is everything.
So let's look at the campaign overview. They're targeting Fontana, California, specifically zip code 92335, but they get way more granular than that. It lists specific carrier routes.
And this is a really key difference for anyone listening. A zip code is a huge area. It can have mansions and apartment complexes all mixed together.
Right.
A carrier route is the specific path a single mail carrier walks. It's a neighborhood. It's much, much sharper targeting.
Okay, so looking at the data for these routes, like Route C076, what jumps out at you in these demographics?
Two numbers. First, the average household income, $103,917.
That's a healthy number.
It is. In service businesses, income is basically a proxy for purchasing power. You want people who have discretionary income.
But high income doesn't always mean they need, say, a plumber. You could make $100,000 a year and live in a rented condo where the landlord fixes everything.
And that brings me to the second, and I think more important, number, the homeownership rate.
Okay.
The source notes these routes are over 90% owner-occupied. The document says, and I'm quoting, minimal apartment saturation.
So why is that so important? Why avoid apartments?
Think about the ads on these cards. Roofing, HVAC, remodeling, fencing. If you send that to an apartment complex, you're just wasting your money. The person in apartment 4B can't hire you.
Because they don't own the roof?
They don't have the authority to buy. So by targeting these specific detached residential zones, they are ensuring almost every single person who touches that card is a decision maker for their own property.
They're hitting established residents with property-related needs.
Exactly. The route breakdown also lists the residential business ratio as 97.7% residential.
So it's going to the living room, not the office.
Which brings us back to that idea you mentioned, the kitchen counter test.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that. This feels like the core idea.
So a digital ad lasts half a second, but when you bring the mail inside, you usually sort it on the kitchen counter. If a piece of mail survives that initial sort,
Because it's big or interesting or high quality.
it lands on the counter. And once it's on the counter, it creates a lingering presence. The source material says exposure lasts days or weeks.
Right, it just sits there.
It sits there. Every time you walk in to get a glass of water, you see that logo. It becomes part of the household. It becomes ambient.
It becomes familiar.
And in marketing, familiarity breeds trust. And maybe that card sits there for 3 weeks. Maybe it gets stuck on the fridge with a magnet.
And then 3 weeks later, the sink clogs.
Exactly. And when the sink clogs, you don't have to go to Google and search plumber near me and sort through 20 strangers. You just look at the fridge. Oh, right, the Citrus Bulletin guy. I've seen that logo every day for a month.
You mentioned Google there. The documents have a section on industry exclusivity. I feel like this is a huge part of it.
It's vital. If you search for something on Google, you get hit with the paradox of choice.
10 ads, a map with 20 dots.
Right. It's decision fatigue. It's stressful. But the Citrus Bulletin has a rule. Only one business per category. If you buy the plumbing slot, you are the only plumber on that card.
So you're not fighting for attention right next to your competitor.
Correct. You own the category for that household. You're simplifying the homeowner's life. You're saying, don't worry about choosing. I'm the neighborhood plumber.
I love that. It's about becoming the default option. Okay, so we get the why and the who. Let's talk about the how. Because small business owners are, well, they're busy. They don't have time to be graphic designers.
And this is where the first 72 hours document comes in. They've designed the process to reduce friction for the owner.
Yeah, I'm looking at the timeline. 0 to 1 hours, payment and intake. Then a strategy call within 24 hours, and a first draft within 24 hours after that. That's really fast.
Speed is important, but look at the revision and approval standards. What's the key phrase there?
Unlimited revisions.
That right there is the psychological safety net. So many owners are afraid they'll pay an agency, get a design they hate, and be stuck with it.
It feels like a trap.
Yes. By offering unlimited revisions, they're saying, we won't print this until you love it. That builds trust before a single card is even made.
And I noticed they use dynamic QR codes. So it's not just old school paper. It connects to the digital world.
It bridges that gap. The old knock on direct mail was you couldn't track it. You just hoped the phone would ring.
Right, the old, I know half my marketing is working, I just don't know which half.
But with a dynamic code, the owner can see, oh, 15 people scanned this to get the coupon. It makes the ROI tangible. It proves the physical connection led to a digital action.
Which brings us to setting expectations. I think my favorite part of all these documents is actually the FAQ, because it's so grounded.
It's refreshing, isn't it? No hype.
No hype at all. There's a question, is one drop enough to matter?
And what's the answer they give?
It says, it works best as local visibility, not instant volume.
I love that honesty. They're setting the expectation that marketing is cumulative. It's a top-of-mind battle, not a lottery ticket. They're telling the client, hey, this is about consistently letting the neighborhood know you exist.
And that honesty extends to the refund policy, too.
The refund policy is really structured. It says if you cancel more than 7 days before print, you get a refund, minus some design fees. That's fair.
Yeah, $20 to start, 15 per revision. Seems reasonable.
It is, but then there's the hard line, 7 days or less before the print date.
Zero refund. Ouch.
It sounds harsh, but it shows professional boundaries. There's a printing lock deadline, materials are bought, machines are scheduled, they can't just stop the press.
It signals that this is a serious operation.
Exactly. It respects the process, and honestly, I think business owners respect that clarity.
So let's try to bring this all together. We started with a $150 ad slot in Fontana, but we've really been talking about how local businesses win.
That's right. They don't win by shouting into the void of the internet. They win by being visible where their customers actually live.
In their homes, not just on their phones.
Yes. They win by leveraging the trust of a community format and by targeting people who actually have the power to buy. It's about quality of connection, not just quantity of impressions.
It's the difference between being a user on a platform and being a neighbor.
That's it. When a business relies only on digital ads, they are renting access to an audience. They're at the mercy of the algorithm. If it changes, they just disappear.
But when you land in a mailbox.
You're visiting their home.
Yeah.
You're physically present. You can't be scrolled past. You have to be dealt with.
And that postcard might sit on the fridge for months until the dishwasher finally breaks. Then you're not an ad, you're the solution that was waiting there the whole time.
The solution, yes.
I keep going back to that idea we started with. Invisibility loses.
It's the absolute truth, and relying on an algorithm to make you visible is a gamble. Physically placing your brand in the hand of a homeowner, that's not a gamble, that's a delivery.
So for everyone listening, whether you run a business or you're just fascinated by this stuff, here's the question we want to leave you with.
It's a question of presence, real presence.
If your business disappeared from the internet tomorrow, website down, social media gone, would your local community even know you were gone?
That's the real test. Physical presence answers that question. If you're in their mailbox, on their counter, in their physical world, you exist.
If you're only online.
You're just a ghost in the machine.
A ghost in the machine. I think that's the perfect place to wrap it up. We've been diving deep into the documents from Cardreach to the Citrus Bulletin. Hopefully this changes how you look at that stack of mail on your counter tonight.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Stay visible.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.